That's why she was using Crago. Use that word.
You just made J. Jonah Jameson a very happy man, webhead.
Hey, now, if you're gonna get personal, that really isn't fair, since I've got nothing on you. Apart from that haircut, of course.
Jeez, Mr. Cage?
Don't worry, kid. He'll bounce back from this. Songbird will be fine, too. You made the right choice. I knew you would. Now let's get the hell out of here before we got more of these lackeys to deal with.
Okay, so that was the anti-registration option. Let's see pro-registration. Skip the initial conversation.
Smart move. I'm glad to see you're going through with registration.
Am I really? Yes, I am.
Congratulations on making the right choice, heroes. The only one you really had. I'll look forward to working with you.
No! How could you? Cage told me I should have left with him and Iron Fist, but I didn't believe you'd do this. You damn traitors!
Well, looks like your first assignment just walked through the door. Either convince that idiot to register or take him down.
Look, Patriot, I was on the fence for a while too, but trust me, you'll look terrible in Prison Orange.
Shut up! There's nothing you can say to make me join you. This is for Cap!
Introduction to government service for you. I'm sorry it had to come to that. Cage and Iron Fist refused to sign and escaped, and they're apparently not alone. I'm just glad you made the correct decision. Let's head back into the main area. We're gonna have our hands full, I expect, and I'm sure Tony will want to thank you personally once he gets back from Washington.
Okay, so you'll get the basic idea there, the choice between pro and anti-registration. Let's look at your options in that scene in detail, though. At the high level, you can either attack the shield agents who are arrayed around you. You can go ahead and register. You can actually try to leave, which we didn't see, but you can do. What you can't do is try to attack Maria Hill. If you do try, as you see when we kind of got close to her, force field pops around her, and given the opportunity, she explains reasonably enough that she learned her lesson earlier when she had her confrontation with Captain America. So note also from that video, the verbal warning that Commander Hill gives you the first time you offer any kind of violence to the shield agents. Also, if you're paying attention, you'll notice the shield agents nearest to the player party are carrying these riot shields, which means that you have to grapple with them for a bit for any of your attacks to have any effect, to get the shield off of them. So a simple punch or shot won't do it. You also get a similar verbal warning if you try to leave the room. And when it comes to the other option, you saw there's several conversation options. Thinking over some more, no, I don't like the film, we're not doing this, and yes, we'll register. So this option has a safety net as well. The key point in both of these situations is one button press won't do it. And the reasons for that are something I'm going to get into here presently. Here's the actual flow of all those decisions, believe it or not. The decision, register or don't register, comes down to that mess. I'm not going to go over the whole thing. Generally speaking, the path downward is escalating the situation towards rebellion. The path rightward is toward registration. And you can see there's multiple downward steps. So that's the two chances that you get to offer violence outright before the guards even turn hostile against you. But also, the rightward paths all have these backward loops until you get down to the very bottom, where the combat is actually already in progress. So you have the chance to back out of those as well, and there is a rightward path at the very bottom, even after you've initiated combat. It is still possible to go up to the registration papers and sign on the line that is dotted, and she'll say, okay, you know, she'll call off the fight and let you register. You can fake her out once and look at the papers during the fight, and she doesn't like that, and you can't do it again. So, also, because these regular paths are basically loops, examining the registration papers is nothing to escalate the situation. In general, it's really, really hard in this structure to end up somewhere accidental, right? And that's the point I'm getting to here. The choice to rebel actually has more safeguards in that you're not really committed until the very end of the fight, and the fight takes a while. This is intentional. Just because it's less explicit, when you're going through conversation options, it's really clear what your options are. Someone is telling you, right? Whereas if you're trying to take the option that you make with your fists, it's less clear. By the way, there is an error in this chart, which I'm going to talk about now. I'm going to tell you this now that we're done looking at the chart, so you won't spend your time looking for the error while I'm talking about other things. It's over on the left in the conversation that's triggered when you try to take an exit. Yes, there should be a path where the guards do not turn hostile just because you tried the door. Just so you know that I know it's there. All right. Here's the first pass of that scene. Much simpler. That's intentional, though. This was really meant as a prototype, built really only so that we'd have something playable that we could learn from. And it went through multiple iterations to get to the point where it finally arrived at. I'm going to go over the lessons that we took from this in the course of developing the scene. As I was saying, it's very minimal. The path downward is again towards rebellion, the path rightward is again towards registration, but there's no branches in either of those paths. Now, either you attack, in which case, boom, you rebel, or you walk up and you hit X to use the registration papers or some other button if you're playing the PlayStation 3 version. And it's that, just as simple as can be. So what were the individual changes to get from this simple structure to where we ended up? All right, so the first issue is that this minimal structure didn't really give the narrative team very much to work with. We wanted this to be a really dramatic scene, and it was just over too quickly. They wanted to have a lot more stage time for Maria Hill, and in particular they wanted to have stage time for the player characters, the stars of the show. Remember the bit where Spider-Man jokes about Maria Hill's haircut, or about how Patriot would look in prison orange? Well, the Hulk doesn't talk like that. Wolverine doesn't talk like that. In fact, our narrative team wrote exchanges with Maria Hill and an argument to present the Patriot for each of the over 20 playable characters in the game. In addition, something which doesn't really show up on the flowcharts is the scenes that occur after you've made the choice, which you saw in the video, where Patriot bursts in, the fight with him, and the little discussion. We'll talk a little bit about those as well. Second, the prototype made it really easy to do something unintended. I mean, really, really easy. Now, this wouldn't necessarily have been a problem for the anti-registration case. You had an autosave at the very end of the level. If you provoked the guards and you didn't mean to do that, there was still time to go back to that. For pro-registration, you hit a button, you were done, and all of a sudden your autosave was in the next level. That was a problem. You would not have time to go back to it if you did that accidentally. A similar issue has to do with designing for multiplayer. The same things that make it easy to do something unintended make it easy to do something basically to really be a jerk to the other players who are playing with you in co-op. Multiplayer is an extremely important part of the Marvel Ultimate Alliance franchise, going all the way back to X-Men Legends. So if you're in a multiplayer game and you're in this situation where your decision is going to be dictated by your action, whose actions are we talking about? Who decides? In the multiplayer case, this needs to happen by agreement, not by fiat. So if anyone in your party starts going down any path without an agreement having been reached, there has to be time